Are you thinking about moving to Texas from some other state? Well, let me tell you a few things that Texas has that might be a little bit different from where you come from. Number one, we have always had negotiable commissions, always. So it's not really a big change for us. It's more of a conversation that's a little bit differently worded today than it used to be. So anywhere in the country, negotiations are in place for compensation. So keep that in mind when you come in, but it's not new to us. We're used to it. Second big difference is that we have in our contract what's called an option period. In Texas, a buyer who's buying a resale property can pay a little extra called an option fee that will get him a few days of free clearance to opt out if so desired. Now, there are some caveats that come with this. Number one, your earnest money and your option money have to be at the title company within 3 days of execution of the contract. That puts your contract in place and it puts your option period on the clock. So, you can negotiate the number of days that you need. It might be 7, it might be only 5, it might be 10. We rarely see more than 10 unless there's a holiday falling or some circumstance. But the beauty for the buyer is that the option period allows Mr. Buyer to say, for whatever reason, I've decided I don't want this house. I'm going to opt out. Mr. Seller, thank you for taking it off the market so I could think about it, do my due diligence, etc. You can have the money that I've put up for the option fee, and I will get my earnest money back. Now, let's say you have a 7-day option, and your option ends on Friday at 5 p.m. All option periods end at 5 p.m. on the date of the last day of the option. So you have to send a notice over before that 5 p.m. deadline that you are terminating your contract and you're going to move on down the road to something else or not buy it all or whatever it is that you plan to do. And you would get your option money back if everything else is in place. And the seller would get the option money and you would get your earnest money back. And earnest money is substantially more than option fee. Usually, earnest money is about 1% of the initial sales price. So just keep that in mind. You're buying a $400,000 house. The earnest money is going to be approximately $4,000. So that's a big difference in Texas compared to a lot of other things. Otherwise, we don't close with attorneys. We close, for the most part, with title companies. And the reason that we have a title company is that the title company is a branch of the Texas Insurance Board, and they issue an insurance policy that ensures the deed to be clear when you take ownership. So in other words, if there's a lien on the property, you are insured against that because it probably wasn't uncovered during the title search. And so Mr. Air Conditioner Man or Mr. Roofer or somebody like that knocks on the door and says, I have a lien on this home and you owe me $12,000. If it was missed by the title company, more than likely your insurance policy, which is a title policy, is going to kick in and cover that expense for you. So you really want a good title insurance policy in Texas. And there are very, very reputable title companies that facilitate the closing. They are a non-partisan organization that not taking sides of either the buyer or the seller, but they have a very neutral position to be sure that title is clear and that when you buy that house, you feel comfortable that you are the sole owner of that home, and also that any debts that are on the house are solely the one that you've created, perhaps with a mortgage. Of course, people who have cash don't have any debt at all, and they just move on happily along. But you still need that title policy, even if you're buying with cash, to protect yourself down the long haul. You don't want to find out that there's a $50,000 lien on the property and you have to be responsible for it. Another thing that we have in Texas, but may not be recommended to use, is that we are allowed to use an existing survey that the seller may provide as long as there have been absolutely no changes. Let me just tell you that you need to be cautious in this regard because sometimes Mr. Seller forgets that he had to replace the back fence line just a little bit because a tree branch fell on it. And so he had to move a post. Maybe that created an encroachment, but he remembers that the fence was always there. So it's advisable to just go ahead, Mr. Buyer, and spend the money for a valid survey and find out what it is that is your property line. Are there any encroachments and things like that? Those are some 3 tips that I would give you if you're thinking about moving to Texas. And we at the Hometown Team would love to be your agent of choice. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to work for you. Just give us a follow.